Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Grant and I'm the host of Remington Graphics, and I haven't posted a video in a really long time, like 2 weeks. I guess it's not too long, but it's still a very long period for me. Recently I've just been feeling unmotivated with my YouTube channel and Blender, but don't worry, I'm coming back. I'm just gonna post videos once a week instead of twice a week because I want to still make content for you guys and teach you guys how to use Blender, but I also want some free time to either experiment with Blender, learn more about Blender so I can teach you, or just do other crap with my life. Anyway, I hope you guys understand, but anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at my new PBR shader, which you can download off of my website, remingtongraphics.net. There will be a link down in the description as well as a card in the upper right corner of the screen. So when we go ahead and open this up, we'll have our little preview window over here, we'll have our node over here, and then we have a bunch of text over here, which is just basically all the information you need to know about this, including updates, some of the usage things, and also licensing. And I'm just gonna go over this now so you don't have to read it. Feel free to use this in whatever you'd like. If you wanna use it for personal or commercial use, go for it. I don't really care. The only thing I ask is don't distribute this as your own. Meaning if you like include it in a Blender file and you send somebody the Blender file, I could care less. But if you go up to somebody and you're like, hey, look at this cool PBR shader I made. I totally made it. It was totally my creation. It definitely wasn't somebody else's. If you do that, then I'm gonna be a little bit mad. But if it's another reason, just I don't really care at all. Anyway, go ahead and download this off my website, link down in the description, and you can use it wherever. So let's go ahead and jump in and look at some of the changes I made with the shader. Looking at this versus my old shader here, you can tell it is a lot bigger, there are a lot more settings, and it is a lot more intimidating, but I'm just gonna go over it really quick. Up here we have a bunch of different outputs. We have dielectric, metallic, subsurface scattering, dielectric plus clear coat, metallic plus clear coat, subsurface scattering plus clear coat, and displacement. For the most part, dielectric materials are something that is not organic or metallic. So things like plaster, paper, even though that's technically organic, that's one of the exceptions. Plastics, rubber, asphalt, dirt, all these different things that aren't alive and don't have light passing through them and aren't reflective, those are dielectric materials. So when you're using a dielectric material, you have a couple different settings down here. We have surface color, surface roughness, and surface normal. Surface color, if we change this into rendered view over here, surface color is the color of the surface, obviously. So you can plug in an image texture over here or just use a color. Surface roughness is how rough the surface is. So if I go ahead and boost this up, you'll notice it becomes much less reflective and much more flat. Let me change this back down though. And then surface normal is for bump maps or something. So if I add in a texture, a noise texture here, and use the color as normals, you can see we get these little funky lines everywhere, but we're gonna ignore that for now. But that's just a look at the surface settings. We also have a metallic shader, and that metallic shader, as you can see, makes it metal. And for the metallic, we have a couple different settings as well. We have the surface color and surface roughness and surface normal. These all affect the metallic as well. Surface color will be the main color of the metal, so you can see I changed that to white and it became, well, silver, I guess. But then we also have this setting called rim color down here. And what rim color is it's this kind of color around the edges of metals that most people don't notice, but it's there. And we can change the color of it, and we can also change the strength of it. So you can see if I drag the rim color strength up here, you can see it's strengthening. And if I drop it down, you can see that it's almost non-existent now. So I'm gonna set this back to its default value of 0.5. Next up, we have subsurface scattering. And for those of you that don't know what subsurface scattering is, it's when light actually passes through an object. Now, in this case, I'm using an orangish subsurface scattering color, a white surface color, and the strength and all that stuff. We'll go over that in a sec. If I rotate around back here where it's in the shadow, you can see that the light starts to penetrate through in these thin spots. You can see it kind of just has that ambient glow. This is similar to holding a really bright flashlight behind your hand or behind your ear. The light will pass through it. Now, if we want to make the subsurface scattering more apparent, we can change the subsurface scattering strength up to 1. Oh wait, sorry, that was the rim strength. We want to change the subsurface scattering strength up to 1. I just made a typo there, I realized. I'll fix that before I release this. But you can see that it is now all just the subsurface scattering. If we want to change it down to maybe 0, you can see that it is no subsurface scattering being calculated at all. And somewhere in the middle around 0.5 is a good balance between the two. We can also change subsurface scattering scale. And what this does is it determines how deep the light will penetrate. If it's something like 0.1, it will penetrate very shallowly and it won't go very far through your mesh. Now, if I change it up to something like 5, you can see that it penetrates a lot more. You can see it's a lot brighter down on the bottom there, and it's a lot more apparent. I'm gonna change this back to 0.1, and we're also gonna look at texture blur. And what texture blur does is, I'm actually not 100% sure. I've done some research, and what I understand is it basically blurs the colors that are coming through it so that it kind of makes it a bit more realistic. That's my best understanding. Unfortunately, I don't know too much about subsurface scattering yet, but once I know, I'll be sure to post an annotation on the screen or leave it down in the description or something. Next up, we have dielectric plus clear coat, metallic plus clear coat, and subsurface scattering plus clear coat. And those apply with these three settings down at the bottom here: clear coat roughness, reflectivity, and normal. Now, what this clear coat does is, let me apply the regular dielectric material here. Clear coats basically apply an extra layer of reflectivity to your surface. So if you think of something like a matte color, so if I change this to like maybe 0.2, so we have this very kind of matte, not matte-ish at all, but it's somewhat like more like a matte than it was before. And we apply the clear coat to it. You can see it becomes a lot more reflective. And if I change this down to like 0.1, it's almost like it's being covered in a layer of polyurethane or something else that really boosts the glossiness of it. And what this clear coat, roughness, reflectivity, and normal do is it's basically just the surface material over again, except with different settings. And the roughness, well, tweaks the roughness. The reflectivity changes how much it reflects. So if I change it up to 0.5, it looks very reflective. I'm gonna change that to like 0.3 or something. And the normal is just another bump map slash displacement map slash, well, normal map. And this applies for metallic and subsurface scattering as well. So you can apply it to all three of these materials and you can get some really cool looking results with this. And you can see just how glossy it gets if I change it up to 1. It's like completely reflective. It looks like it's just coated in a layer of, I don't even know, like goo, clear goo. It looks so, I want to touch it. It's weird. It looks like one of those Orbeez things, but less transparent. Anyway, down at the bottom, we also have another setting called displacement, and displacement is basically just a pass through. So if I were to hook up a, let's see here, texture, a noise texture, use the factor as the displacement, I can now just pass that through, so I don't have to put the noise texture up here. If you have a displacement map, you can just plug it in here, and you don't have to plug everything else in here and then plug the displacement in over here. It's just a convenience thing. It's really not much at all. Anyway, that's just a basic overview of my PBR shader and some of the things you can do with it. If you guys make anything really awesome that you want to share with me, please leave a comment down below linking me to an image. I'd love to see it. I love seeing things that people create with my tools. Anyway, if you like this video or you like my new PBR shader, be sure to leave a like down below and share it with your fellow Blender comrades, because I'm sure they need a free PBR shader too. That's about it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.